Earlier this week, I Zoomed with my graduate research advisor and mentor, Sung-Hou Kim. We discussed many things, including where things are heading for research universities. Sung-Hou and I agreed, people who embrace AI will increasingly outperform those who refuse to use it. The question that followed naturally was whether the same dynamic applies to institutions. If individual experts can be outpaced by a tool they refuse to use, so can universities. The open question is whether they will see it coming in time to do something about it. Why, I've been thinking about that conversation ever since. This essay is where I landed. Clayton Christensen described the trap. In 1997, he called it the innovator's dilemma. A successful organization encounters a disruptive new technology and hesitates to adopt it because the new thing threatens the very business model that has made the old thing successful. The hesitation is not irrational. It is rational self-preservation. The new model looks small and unproven. The existing model is still generating revenue. From the inside, killing the golden goose feels reckless. Universities fit this description almost perfectly. The brand of a Harvard, a Stanford, a UC Berkeley is tied directly to scarcity, limited seats, selective admissions, a residential experience that costs tens of thousands of dollars per year. The implicit promise is that proximity to world-class faculty and peers is something you cannot get anywhere else. Any model that genuinely democratizes access to that knowledge runs the risk, from the institution's perspective, of diluting exactly what makes the degree valuable. That logic is understandable. It is also wrong. And we have already run the experiment that demonstrates it. In 2012, Harvard and MIT launched IDX. That same year, Andrew Ng and Daphne Kaller, both Stanford faculty, co-founded Coursera. The prediction was that putting lectures online would erode the value of an on-campus degree. That prediction was wrong. edX grew to tens of millions of learners across more than 160 countries without any perceptible reduction in the prestige of a Harvard diploma. Georgia Tech launched an online master's degree in computer science for under $7,000. Now one of the largest graduate CS programs in the world, and its residential programs have lost none of their standing. The schools that leaned into online education discovered that access and prestige are not enemies. They widened their reach, opened new revenue streams, and their brands emerged stronger, not weaker. The next logical step goes further than streamed lectures. Every serious research university sits on something extraordinary: decades of published research, course syllabi, lecture recordings, library collections running to millions of volumes, and the accumulated working knowledge of its faculty, postdocs, scientists, and staff. That corpus is alive and growing. Imagine a university-specific large language model, trained and retrieval-grounded on that corpus. Not a chatbot that has absorbed the entire internet and then hallucinated its way through the gaps. A focused, institution-specific system that knows Berkeley chemistry the way Berkeley chemists know it, that can trace every answer back to a specific paper, a specific lab, a specific course. Offered as subscription access, it extends the university's mission to anyone in the world with curiosity and a connection, without a single diploma being devalued. The interface matters as much as the corpus. Static video lectures put the learner in the role of spectator. Interactive question-and-answer dialogue puts them in the role of student, the difference between watching a surgery and being trained to perform one. At its best, the AI interface is Socratic. It meets the learner where they are, follows their questions, and calibrates accordingly. Now, if there is one institution that should recognize this moment for what it is UC Berkeley. In room 307 of Gilman Hall, during the winter of 1940 to 1941, a young chemist named Glenn Seaborg and his colleagues bombarded uranium-238 with deuterons, and on December 14, 1940, first produced plutonium-239. By February 1941, they had chemically separated and conclusively identified element 94, the first isolation of plutonium in history. That room is now a National Historic Landmark, recognized not because the chemistry was elegant, but because the discovery changed what the world was capable of. The material that Seaborg identified came from the cyclotron that Ernest Orlando Lawrence had built just up the hill. Lawrence started in 1930 with a machine 4.5 inches across, housed in a wooden shack on the Berkeley campus. By 1939, he had scaled to a 60-inch instrument powerful enough to earn him the Nobel Prize in Physics. The institution he founded became Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, a national resource that has operated continuously for more than 80 years and has produced 13 Nobel laureates among its researchers. And it was at Berkeley that J. Robert Oppenheimer spent 14 years as a physics professor from 1929 to 1943, building one of the great theoretical physics programs in the world. The summer conference he organized at Berkeley in 1942, gathering some of the century's most consequential minds in physics, became the theoretical seed of Los Alamos. Berkeley did not merely participate in the next chapter of history, it convened it. I recently came across a passage as the opening epigraph of The Infinity Machine, a book about deep mind and the quest for superintelligence. John von Neumann, while working on the atom bomb in 1945, wrote, "What we are creating now is a monster whose influence is going to change history, provided there is any history left, yet it would be impossible not to see it through. It would be unethical from the point of view of the scientists not to do what they know is feasible, no matter what terrible consequences it may have. And this is only the beginning." Von Neumann was describing the dawn of the nuclear age. Replace the phrase energy source with intelligence source, and the passage could have been written yesterday. In each case, the pattern was the same. The institution did not stand at a distance and observe a powerful, new capability emerging. It organized around it, funded it, gathered the talent, and built infrastructure that outlasted any individual contribution. The cyclotron became the national laboratory. The chemistry became the periodic table extended. The physics conversations became the project that ended a world war. Berkeley knows, in its institutional memory, what it means to carry powerful fire. The question is whether it and the universities that share its ambitions will recognize the current moment as belonging to the same tradition. The wrong frame is, how do we protect what we have? That frame leads to incremental gestures, a committee here, a pilot program there, a decision to wait until the landscape clarifies. The landscape is not going to clarify in the direction of patience. The institutions that build now will define what university knowledge systems look like for the next generation. The right frame is, what can we build that no one else can build? No one else has Berkeley's corpus. No one else has the combination of published research, teaching materials, library depth, and faculty expertise that a serious research university has accumulated over a century of operation. That corpus is the moat. It is not the name on the diploma. It is the accumulated knowledge behind it. The fire is already lit. Berkeley helped light it. The question now is whether the university will help carry it forward or stand at the gate and watch it pass by. I'm Dr. Stephen Muskal. This has been Universities Built the Bomb, Now Build This. The knowledge arms race has already started. Subscribe.